Well, speaking of calling the cops, first story. This is out of Bedford, Virginia. Cops are involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our WTF What the You Know What segment.
Sounds fitting.
Bedford, Virginia. Now get this. I'm going to place you at the scene of the incident. I'm not going to say crime because I'm not quite sure if a crime was committed. Listen to this. A drunken driving checkpoint. Some states have these, some states don't. In Virginia, they do. This is a checkpoint where they force you off, and you're given the breathalyzer, and if you register at a certain level, you go to jail.
Yes.
So there's a drunken driving checkpoint in Bedford, Virginia. Now, they pulled a car over here on Friday night. This was this past weekend. Now, get this. The Bedford Sheriff's Office said the car that they pulled over was driven by a 32-year-old woman, pulled up to the checkpoint on Friday night when deputies heard noises from the trunk.
Oh.
So here's these cars. Here's these cops at the drunken driving checkpoint. Okay, at the checkpoint. Let me just not. Yes, checkpoint. Thank you. They're at the checkpoint. Somebody pulls over a 32-year-old woman. They hear noises coming from the trunk.
What kind of noises you ask?
Well, get this. When asked what was in the trunk, and all of a sudden I'm reading this story and it's on a police blotter, and I'm thinking that this is going to go really bad, really south, no pun intended. Taking it back to my southern roots, there's going to be a body or something like that. I thought this is where this is going.
Someone bound and gagged.
Exactly.
That's exactly where
that's
I'm
at
I
right go.
Now.
I'm
Me too.
With
I'm right
my
there.
forensic files and the first 48 hours and my crime shows that I watch, I'm thinking a body. Nope, not a body. When asked what was in the trunk, the driver said she bought. It's difficult for me to get this out. I can do it. When asked, the driver said she bought a goat from a farmer to give to the 4 passengers in her car. I kid you not. And I know you're visualizing this right now. The 4 passengers in her car are from Kenya. Not Kenya, Virginia. Although that kind of has a rhyme to it. They should put a Kenya in Virginia and make a jingle. That sounds like a great vacation destination. Kenya, Virginia. Kenya, as in the continent, as in the country we were talking about on the show on Monday where Barack Obama's...
In Africa?
Exactly.
Okay.
4 people were in her car from Kenya, from the continent of Africa, but they reside in Lynchburg, Virginia. The goat was panting heavily. The officer said the temperature in the trunk was 94 degrees.
Did they take the temperature in the trunk after they found a goat in there?
Apparently. I don't know what this is all about. Now, the woman said that in Kenya, people have goats for various reasons.
Sure.
And she said that she had purchased the goat from a farmer to give to the 4 passengers who were in the car with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can get a GWI, which would be goating while intoxicated. Or you know what, that's not even the right term because nobody was intoxicated.
Yeah.
It would be driving while goating, DWG, which is what I'm calling this. I don't know of any other word to apply to this. In Unfiltered World, if you throw a goat in the back of your car, we're going to call that goating. I don't know if she got a DWG, a driving while goating.
You down with DWG?
Yeah, exactly. She said, what are you in for? DWG. Can you imagine you go to jail for that? But thank God that she wasn't drinking. Thank God that there was no crime committed. Or, you know, maybe as I say that, I realize my animal activists out there might get very, very angry to hear that a goat was in a trunk in 94-degree weather. And now that I think about that, what the hell?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about this now. A goat is bound and gagged in a trunk. What type of damn car was she driving? It certainly wasn't a Toyota Tercel.
Or somebody in the back seat was getting kicked in the head if it was a Toyota Tercel.
Exactly. And how do you get a goat? These are the things.
How'd you manage to get the goat in the trunk?
Everybody out there, I know you can listen to us worldwide. You know our number, 877-CHAT-212. And I know that you know you can Skype into us as well. Our account is Chat About It. Callers, if you know how to get a goat in the trunk of a car, will you please let me know? That just sounds like one of these things I need to do if I'm on an African safari.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't know if
That was
goats
a
made the same as sheep.
pun.
But,
We're
you know,
moving on
whatever.
after that.
Okay.
That was bad. That was bad.
What the?
Exactly. Oh, God. Okay. Lewiston, New York is the location of our next story. Now,
Alright.
get this. Lewiston is in western New York.
Mm.
Western New York, New York State. Now, police in western New York said 2 Canadian men attended a church festival
Mhm.
this past weekend,
Okay.
and they wound up in the woods.
Okay.
I did that for a dramatic pause.
Yeah.
They wound up in the woods drunk,
Wait.
naked,
Oh.
and, I'm not done, covered in mud. That's right. State police said troopers found a 22-year-old man from Hamilton, Ontario, which is in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
sitting along a road in the town of Lewiston, just outside Niagara Falls, around 5:45 a.m. Sunday, which is really,
Gotcha.
really early.
Yeah.
This church festival must have been off the hook if you're
What?
out at 5:45
Yeah,
a.m.
it was
Sunday
some
because
revival that started at night and kept going. throughout the
exactly.
day.
I don't know what this is about. Trooper said he was caked in mud. After
Whoa.
questioning him, troopers found a 23-year-old man from Hamilton, covered in mud, and passed out in a ditch nearby.
And passed out.
And he was passed out, so
Huh.
he couldn't make it to the curb.
Wow.
Now, I
What denomination is this?
exactly. I was
What's
about
going
to say, they're from Canada. I don't know what's going on up in Canada. Love everybody. Very international here, but I just want to let everybody know in America, typically, when we go to church, we leave fully clothed.
Yeah.
Now, maybe our wallets are a little bit lighter. Everybody has to give their 10% of the offering, but we usually leave in the same state that we went in. That we went in with.
Funny.
Actually, we might be a little uplifted when we go to church here in America,
Yeah.
but very rarely. Now, again, you know my number. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you praise the gospel in any other way, and I'm saying churches, synagogues. We just were talking to Frank. Everybody, temple, whatever it may be. When we typically honor somebody, we don't leave nude, caked in mud, and
passed
find the
out.
nearest ditch. Exactly. So, well, you know what? Maybe. I know those Scientologists are a little wacky. Maybe that's what Tom Cruise
that
and
what
his
happened?
gang's doing. But other than that,
Did anybody lay hands on anybody in this forest of ill repute after the church?
I have no
festival?
idea.
I'm like, what?
I have no idea what happened in this forest of ill repute.
Did anyone get a blessing?
We are going
in
to
the
have
bushes?
to check in. If these gentlemen got a blessing, I have a feeling they probably don't remember. I've had really wild nights in my past, but I can't say that I have ended up in a ditch drunk and naked. Been in a ditch,
Covered
but not
in mud.
drunk and naked. And covered in mud.
Yeah,
Exactly. I've been
yeah.
in a ditch drunk, but not covered in mud and naked.
After leaving church.
That's too much information for
It's
me.
too
You know what?
much.
Let me
It's too
just
much.
stop here. What they needed is some of this. Let's do this.
Ah.
Kane's words of wisdom.
Don't tell me that I'm not going to get drunk and
You're
covered
not.
in naked
Yeah.
and covered in
It's
mud.
funny because this
okay.
has something to do with church too, or faith. Anyway, in order to have faith in one's path, you don't go down a ditch. No, I'm sorry. In order to have faith in one's path, a warrior does not need to prove that someone else's path is wrong. So sort of like we talked about with Frank, figure out what's going on with yourself, get going down your own road. You don't have to point fingers at other people. Figure out what's right for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that really does kind of point to what Frank was talking about. Looking for purpose
Yes.
and self and others can lead you down a very dark and dangerous road many times. You must find solace and comfort in you, what you have, your own personal path.
That's right.
And then that path is going to turn into a huge highway, which
With a
is going to
ditch.
take you wherever you want to go. You're going to see ditches on the side maybe, but you're not going to get drunk and fall into them naked and covered in mud.
With
You're going to
the-
pass it by and get to your
Get going.
destination.
With a goat in your trunk.
Exactly.
There you go.
Speaking of destinations, I got to get home. I know you got to get out
I
of
gotta
here.
do it.
We are back on Friday.
That's
The
right.
Scenesters are here again
Oh,
on Friday.
yes,
Looking
yes.
forward to that. Got to hear what they have for us this week. I'm Lil Ern,
I'm Kaine.
and this is Unfiltered. Be here again Friday.